Well, that didn't take long. I just posted a video a little bit earlier today, and I'm going to go ahead and record another one here. Like I said, I'm going to try to keep you guys a lot better in the loop on this car, on how I'm doing things, why I do things. Maybe I'll say some things intentionally, maybe I'll say some unintentionally, but hopefully y'all get something from this. This car here is going to be a 750 certification car. So there's some things different on it that I have to explain to you. It's, for example, the frame. You saw in my other videos where I MIG weld the frames and like the Mustang and the Henry J's and stuff like that. Those are 850 certification cars. They'll never go faster than 850. This one here probably will not go faster than 850, but he wants a funny car cage in it. And in that respect, I'm going to build him a 750 cert car. So you never know. You know, someday maybe he's going to want to go that fast. I don't know that I would in something that's this high, but you know, if I'm going to put a funny car cage in it, it's going to certify to 750. That's just how I roll. So in that instance, I'm going to show you a little bit about the chassis, why I've done what I've done, a little follow-up on the jigging and stuff on the chassis, how this works. So here goes nothing, everybody. As you can see, she's got the frame rails tacked in her. And this car is called the Woolly Mammoth. It's going to have a Hemi in it. I think it's a Ray Barton Hemi he's got, and he's brought me a dummy block and heads and everything else. So, but I want to talk to you a little bit about this. Okay, got the level set up there. I had somebody ask me a question about that level. So there's the level that I use. I've got two of these. The jig, you know, it's channel iron. I've got three jigs. I get them confused, but this one here is what, 4x6 or 4x8. I think I messed that up. I had somebody reach out and ask me, and I misquoted myself. I was at home trying to remember, and this is the wrong jig. Yeah, this one's 6 inches, 4x6, and I put 4x6 tube extensions on the end, or I think they're 4x6. Yeah, so pretty simple. They were going to scrap this out to Mosier's. It was an old stock car jig, and it was drastically different, and I cut it apart and modified it so it more suited my needs. And then I built some really long cars, so that's why I put those extensions on it. But anyways, jigging the chassis. The way this worked out up front, as you can see here, I had 24 inches between the rails to get the rails out there, and then they go out like they sort of loop through the frame rail and then down along the side of the front end, like up, and you can see in the front end there, they go out there in that fender area. So they stick down a tiny bit below the fender, but it's sort of what looked good to me. This part here, I've got level, front to back, side to side, okay? When I set this cross member in, I've shown you that. You set my laser up, and then I found the center line here. I dropped the plumb bob down and then measured off the sides to the center of the loop, and then I just lined my laser light up with that string and tacked her in place. Then I determined on this cross member where the center of the tube was, okay? And this is what I did there. I hole sawed a hole through it, put a piece of 1 5/8 083 in there, because I'm going to run the water lines through the frame rails. I'm going to put the radiator in the back of this car, and the water lines will run through the frame rails versus alongside. So what I did, built my rails. I showed you guys where this cut was. You know, ended up being a 5-degree angle like the rake in the frame rail is. So then this comes out level and then drops down. This is like a 20 degree angle right here I dropped that at 20 degrees to dip it down on the front end. So, like I say, they're 12 inches apart center to center, 24 inches total width, inside to inside. So what I do to start is I drew a line on that cross member. You can see her laying on the floor now. I took it back out. Okay. So I was 24 inches center to center, then found where the rails touched the cross member in the back off my laser line, and you know, went 12 inches from the center both ways and tacked them, just one tack. Okay. Then what I did is I came up front and I shimmed it so this rail was perfectly level on both sides. Then I measured right here from this point, you can see my line there, from this point to the center to my laser line, and I got them set at 24 inches wide too, 12 inches center to center. And I tacked that to that cross member that I had in there. Okay. Got all that stuff squared. Then what I did is I went back to the back and I put a square on the cross member and squared the frame rail up, and I got it tacked on all four corners. You know, good tacks. Then what I do is, you remember, you're welding all this stuff together. You can see my gussets and everything. You're welding all this stuff together. It moves around a little bit. So what I do then is I come up with a way to get the front, like these pieces here, off my front end jig. That's the T that I made to hold the front end up. I determined where they were level, front to back, side to side. I got them set there at height. Okay, I got these angle pieces tacked to this fixture. I got them set so the rails are level side to side. Then what I did is I measured from like right here to my laser line and made that one was right on 12 inches. So I tacked that one. This one here was out about 1/4 of an inch. So what I did is I put a clamp right here and I pulled it in so it was 12 inches to the center line, and then tacked them down. Like I've got a tack in there and a tack on the outside of that one to hold all that stuff level and parallel. I wanted the rails parallel with each other, perfectly parallel. So, and that's where the laser comes in. I mean, I could set a piece of angle iron across there and use plumb bobs and everything else, but the laser makes it easy. I think, like I told the fellow that asked, I think I paid around 80 bucks a piece for them. So, well worth the money. And you can buy lasers like at Menards and Home Depot, and I've got one of those, but it doesn't reach the whole length of the car. I mean, I can only see it till about the cross member, which the way it's really designed to set up is set it up right in the middle and measure outwards from that, and that doesn't really work well in an instance like this. So that's why I like these Bosch levels. I'm not out $500 if I break them. Some of them are really expensive. So anyways, I got to that point where everything was level and parallel, and then I put these two verticals in here on each side, like right about where the mid plate's going to be. I put these in so that I could take that cross member out, because the next thing I'm going to do is shove that big motor and tranny in here, and I needed clearance, and with that rod that went across will be right in the way of the transmission. So I put these in, and then I put this diagonal gusset in to keep them from moving side to side, and then knock that cross member out of there, knock my tacks loose and knock my cross member out. So that's where I'm at there. I was going to go out to Mosier's and get the rear end housing today, but it's sort of raining and sleeting, so I'm going to pass on that till tomorrow. Anywho, that's where I'm at with frame rails. And you can see these fish plates, how I do them. These are just what I use, so I got them inside and out. Like I say, chamfer the weld, put them inside and out. I try not to grind the welds. I got this one weld here looks a little funky for some reason. Must not have been very comfortable when I welded it. So I'll touch that up. Oh, something else I want to talk about is these frames on the front. I usually cut a taper on the frame and put a round end on it just so it looks better. What I do here, I figure out where my length, I want my length to be, and then I'll lay that out, and then this is a piece of 2-inch tubing cut in half, so it's half round. What I'll do is I'll cut the tube off this way square, notch it back to get this line here, and then this line here I measure from the center to here, which is 6 inches, and I split this. I don't know if you can see this, but like, see if I can show you right on this corner. I try to leave that corner, so I split it there, and then I'll cut, you know, and then I'll cut this taper, and then I just pinch it together with my vice grips, and I'll make this weld here. Put that, I weld that shut. Then what I do is I fit that piece of tubing in, and I tack it on the top and the bottom, and then I'll take this piece over to the vise and put it in there, and then I'll grind this flat, and then I'll finish weld this. And I grind these, like I chamfer them down so I got plenty of weld there, and grind them down because I want them to look, that part to look real pretty. So just something that you can see, it's pretty obvious. So this car, by the way, it'll be a 4-inch dropped axle, and it'll have coilovers on it. It's not this won't be a leaf spring car. So if I had to run leafs on this, the perches would have to stick out a little farther, and then I'd have to run a short, like a 28-inch spring, and those are like just way too stiff. They're not great springs. So they work in a pinch. If that's what you got to use, that's what you got to use. But like on this car, I'm using coilovers in the front and rear. So hopefully this information helps a little bit, and like, you guys can send me questions if you want, and I'll do my best to answer them. Sometimes I don't see them for a day or two, and I don't know why. So the last one I had about the jig, I didn't see that until I think last night when I got home. Like, my notifications aren't working right, but like I say, I'm a rookie at this. I don't know how to edit. I need to learn how to do that, you know. But as I said before, this is about sharing information. I'm not trying to make a TV show. I'm not trying to get 10 million viewers. I don't give a rat's butt about that. So, like I say, just don't want what's in my head getting lost. So, my next video, I believe, will be about motor location and how I get this big monster in here. So, again, thanks everybody for watching. You know, love what I'm doing. Hopefully you guys are liking watching what I do. So, Jerry and Karen are coming Thursday to look at the Mustang. They're excited about that, and I'm excited for them to see it because they've not seen it for a long time. So I'll let you know how that goes too. See ya. Thanks for watching.